I was in corporate and I hated it. My sister reminded me that I loved hair when I was a kid. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go to hair school. I thought I was too old because I was like 28. I'm so grateful that I did it older because I just had a different perspective and more of a drive. I didn't have the time to waste. So I was like, okay, let's get this going.
Today's guest has built a career on transformation, behind the chair, behind the mic, and behind a bold movement empowering the next generation. Carla Zuniga is the creator of Her Power Pins, co-host of the F Madres podcast, and a stylist and educator with over 15 years of experience. She's worked with top salons, mentored countless stylists, and continues to push the industry forward with creativity, honesty, and purpose. Carla, we're so excited to have you with us.
Are you a beauty pro who loves what you do, but not the admin part? Boulevard's got you. From seamless online bookings to streamlined workflows and built-in revenue boosters, Boulevard is the easy-to-use platform that works as beautifully as you do. For tuning in to today's podcast, you can save 10% off and get free guided setup. Head to joinblvd.com/podcast to learn more and get started.
Carla, thank you so much for joining me and Daniel. It's a little bit of a reunion between the three of us.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, if you ever worked with the three of us together, I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding.
Especially me. God.
Dude, that's another episode.
Yeah.
But for anyone who hasn't had the chance of meeting you, please introduce yourself and tell us about how you got into this industry.
Okay, my favorite question. My name is Carla Zuniga, and I have been in hair for 15 years now. I was in corporate and I hated it. And my sister reminded me that I loved hair when I was a kid. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go to hair school. I thought I was too old because I was like 28. But I went there and like one of my classmates was 50, starting over. So I was like, you know what? Okay, I could do this. I went in curious. I left loving it. And then after I graduated, and I busted through it like in 9 months because I'm like, can I cuss?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I am old. I need to get through this real fast. Yeah. So instead of 10 months, I did it in 9. Nice. And then like 3 days after I graduated, someone said, oh, Galvin Benjamin is opening up. You should go apply. And Daniel and I got hired on the same day, although no one told us we were hired, right?
Yeah.
You just kept coming back.
We did a 3-day trial and we're like, did anyone tell you got hired? They told us to come back tomorrow. No one told us anything.
That's hilarious. You know, it's so funny because you saying 28 is old. I'm like, what? Carla was a baby at 28 right now looking back.
I know.
Like, you're so young still. It's so funny.
I'm 43. Jesus.
Well, it's, been a whirlwind, but it flew by. But no, you're still so young. Yeah, because so many people jump out of it from high school and jump right in. So you felt like 10 years late, I can imagine.
I felt really late. But I'm so grateful that I did it older because I just had a different perspective and more of a drive. Mm-hmm. Not to say that younger people don't, but like I just didn't have enough time. I didn't have the time to waste. So I was like, okay, let's get this going.
You're hungry.
Yeah.
In 2024, you launched Her Power Pins, which is such a special brand. What was the spark for the idea and what did it take to bring that to life?
I'm sure, Shanali, now that you're a parent, you've heard like when you have a kid, all your childhood comes up.
Oh, yeah.
And so once I had her, I realized, oh my God, I was raised very much in an environment of not a lot of encouragement, more critical sort of environment versus encouragement. And so it made me realize that I'd based all my decisions in my life on that framework that I had wired my brain. And so I was like, God, I'm not letting that happen to our daughter. Like she's going to know she could do. Like she'd do everything that she sets her mind to. Since she was 1.5, I mean, obviously she didn't speak then. I would hold her up in the mirror and I would look in the mirror with her and I'd say, I'm strong, I'm brave, I'm capable, I'm worthy. I'm gonna do all the things I set my mind to because I believe in myself. And to this day, it's part of her morning routine. She doesn't get, like, if she doesn't change and then go to the mirror, we're like, you need to do your morning talk. She goes to the mirror and she says, I'm strong, I'm brave. And she does the whole thing. Gives herself a high five in the mirror and says, I love you, Nava.
I love that.
And so I was just like watching her do that one day. And I was like, it would be so great if there was something tangible that she could have on her that would remind her that she is these things. She can do these things. And so I was like, well, I do hair and I'm very crafty. So why don't I create like hairpins? And so, yeah, that's how her power pins came to be. And they all have I am affirmations on them. But when you buy one, you get one. And that one is for that little girl who's initially getting it, to give that one to another little girl to encourage her and empower her. And I feel like right now we need that.
Yeah.
Especially.
Girlhood, like for sure.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So that's not easy, you know, going from like behind the chair to like developing your own brand, right? Like talk to us about that journey. What was that like?
I mean, it's still very much the journey.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm like a one-woman show. So like I'm doing everything from rolling the clay to baking it to, you know, doing the online store to all that stuff. So in the midst of also clients are my main thing. And so I have to juggle that and then also have a kid. So it's a lot. It's a lot to have to wear all these hats, but you know, it's a passion of mine and I really want to see it grow. So the goal is to ultimately hire a team of women that are trying to get back on their feet and have them be the ones to make the pins. That would like, so the empowerment's full circle. So it goes not just from the little girls, but it's like the moms and the women. I hope that's what I want.
I love that. That's such a beautiful goal. Like you don't hear that always, you know?
Yeah, that's an amazing brand story.
Yeah. So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
You also work with IIles Formula. And what drew you to that brand? What's that experience like?
You all heard me. Like
I remember.
everyone rolled their eyes when I would always talk about IIles Formula. So it is a brand that honestly to this day, I don't think there's anything as good as that brand. Like since I first met Wendy IIles and she handed me that signature collection. And I love telling that story because I was the only manager on at that particular golden hour that she walked in. I was never the person to pitch to. And I felt so bad for her because I have really bad RFB. So I was like,
Yeah. And you have a great poker face for that though. Cause you know, in that pitch moment, right?
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've like permanent stink face. But anyway, she was like, just go home and try it. And I did. And I was just like, holy this is amazing. And like forced Ben, who was like, whatever, okay. And yeah, like since then, it's been obviously a long time that I've tried other products in between. But when I go back to it, it's like, it just works. And so I manifested this position because I knew when we first brought them on to Benjamin, I was like, I'm going to work with them some way. I don't know how. I was talking to Ali, the sales guy initially, and he was like, well, Wendy wants you to be a salesperson. I'm like, I'm not a salesperson. So no, I'm not ready for this. I don't want it. And then last summer, I reached out again and I was like, are you guys ready for an educator now? And she was like, as a matter of fact, we are. And so I was like, yes. So
Finally.
I'm their first educator that they've hired.
You know, education's complicated with salons and like hairstylists, colorists, wrangling them. You remember what it was like when we were managing, right? So how do you approach that now? Like when you walk in, like what's your process like to get them all going?
You know, it is intimidating to walk into salons and like be the person that they're like, who am I learning from? Like, who is this person?
Right.
But honestly, the best approach is just be you. You know, like I can be quirky and I can be weird and I just own it. And I just go in and I'm inquisitive and I ask them like what they want to learn. I end up doing what I want anyway. But like, you know, I always ask. I'm open to also learning from them. I think walking in and being very humble because like, yeah, sure, I'm teaching them some things, but I want to learn and be open to learning from them as well.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So I think it's really important to, as an educator, have that energy because it makes for a very collaborative class.
So you run a beauty business, which means you wear like 7 hats, right? Boulevard's all-in-one client experience platform lightens the load. Think seamless scheduling, automated marketing, and built-in ways to make more revenue. Less stress, more success. For a limited time, we're offering podcast listeners 10% off plus free guided setup. Get started at joinboulevard.com/podcast.
Is there something that you wish more owners understood about educating their teams?
I mean, everybody learns differently. That's something that when I learned from a particular person, it was this way. And like, look, I get there's techniques. Like you've got to learn the technique, but the approach could have been a little softer. Like, you know, when you're told that you're and you're like doing it wrong is not very motivating.
Right.
So finding ways to talk to that particular person's learning ability is really important. And I think that just takes listening and patience with each person. So it is time consuming to be an educator because you're working with each individual person, but it's important. Like you gotta listen.
Yeah, we had an awesome conversation like earlier in the season as well about how it doesn't matter like what you're doing within your business. Like you have to have education with any initiative to roll out and be successful, and you have to like tap back into it.
Sure.
So with a product like this, like what would you recommend to owners as they're trying to maybe increase sales or things like that? Like how could they incorporate education more frequently with, whether it be IIles or something else?
I mean, I think that they should take it serious when brands, like if they're interested in bringing a brand on, that they set up that initial PK class right away, and they make it a requirement for the staff to come. I mean, I know that employment statuses, it's hard to force certain people to show up, but like the ones that are employed, it has to be a requirement for them to be there, especially the assistants, because they are the ones that are eager and hungry to learn. Like those are usually the classes I love the most because they are so hungry and so open to drink up the information. So I think, like setting those classes up and having it be a regular thing.
Right.
Get it to become routine so that people automatically know it's like a muscle they flex, like, oh, I have to go to this class. I have to go to this class. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's a great point, because someday people will be out on their own, doing their own thing, and they got to constantly be training as well, just independently, like even without someone forcing their hand. So that's a great point.
Yeah, but training can look different these days with like YouTube and all that sort of stuff. Like there's things that I still watch, and I spend days like learning how to do certain do's or whatever. Like that is training nowadays too.
Totally.
As long as you keep it up and you keep the curiosity, it's really important. So that's something.
So you've been in the salon world for 15 years now. Do you have any wild client stories, horror stories, or anything that you can't forget?
I mean, God, they've been so many that I think there's like a blur. It's like a blur.
You need a burn book.
Yeah. You know what I think is a funny story? I wouldn't necessarily say it's a horror story of a client, but it was a story with another stylist. I won't name names, but this person came in and he had quite an ego on him, and he would always come up to the front desk and throw a hissy fit if like someone wasn't greeted right, or they didn't text him and let him know, or didn't have send his assistant up. And I was terrified of him. I may have looked mean, but I was terrified of these people. Yeah. Like Shanalia was always like, but
I was like, you said what? Like,
but I was like always scared to deal with him. And I just got to the point this particular day that I had it. I walked to the back of the room and I said, next time you have a problem, you do not come to the front desk and say it in front of my face. And you could just see him go, oh, okay. And it was at that moment where I was like, oh, so easy to handle these personalities. And then immediately after that, our relationship changed. And I was like, don't yell at me. Don't this, don't that. So like, I remember that I was so terrified in the moment because I hated confrontation. But I was like, oh man, right when you hit them with it, they're like, oh, okay.
I know it's not a comfortable feeling, but sometimes you got to meet them where they're at, where it's like, hey, boundary, like I'm not accepting that behavior. Turn around, come back, redo.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I love that. So, you've worn so many hats, Carla. You've also started an awesome podcast called F at Madres, which has built such a strong, female community. I love that. We'd love to hear more about those conversations and what really drove you and Romy there to create that podcast.
So it's interesting. The podcast was really the catalyst for all of these other things that I'm doing, because I had gotten to a point in my life, and she had obviously gotten to that point too, where I was kind of looking around one day and I'm like, is this it? Life is good, but this can't be it. I need more. And so I invited into the universe. I'm a little woo. So I invited into the universe, I want to be uncomfortable. And man, did it throw it my way. And the conversation organically happened with her and I. Were like, why don't we just it? Yeah. That's where it came from. Let's just start a podcast. And why don't we talk to other women who we focused on moms because we were moms, and we were having this effort moment where we were realizing something needs to change. And to make a big change, especially as a mother, when you have a spouse or a kid, it can be a lot more risky to do these things. And so we're like, why don't we interview those people? Why don't we interview these moms that have had these F it moments? And man, it was so empowering to talk to women who have had F it moments, like where they've realized that they could no longer be in their marriage with a man and married a woman, or like they left abusive relationships and with all their kids and they didn't know what they were going to do and they just left and ended up, but every F it moment, whether it worked out the way they wanted or not, was for the better because their life changed for the better. And so just talking to these women, first of all, I mean, like doing the podcast itself for me was very uncomfortable because I don't like to be like this right now. Like I'm actually sweating like right now. But my friend, she's been on a reality TV show, so she was very good at like really like holding the conversation. I was like the small, few words, wise words type of person. Well, I don't even say wise, but whatever. A few words.
I think you're wise. Okay.
Thanks. But anyway, it was the catalyst for all of these things because that was the first thing that really put me into that uncomfortable seat. And then last year we signed with like a small boutique PR agency and they were like, we're going to send you out to speaking gigs. And I was like, what? So I was like, well, you know what? If I'm going to do this, then I'm going to join Toastmasters. So I joined Toastmasters and it helps you with public speaking. And I was terrified, but yet I would do it and I got really good feedback. And so I was like, maybe I'm so bad at this. And so then that led on to other things. Then I went into educating and that being in front of people was like comfortable. And then they want me doing hair in front of people, which I was like, but I'm okay with it. So like it really started me on the podcast. I loved what we did. We did it for 2 years. We did it consistently of over 100 episodes. And it really was what changed me into thinking like the fear that I get is something I should look at versus run away from. So now I get excited when I get scared because I'm like, ooh, this is something that I need to do.
You know, it's so funny to hear you say that because I feel like since the day I met you, I've only looked at you as like someone who could do public speaking and is in front of a group. Like I've always known you as like Carla, who's a manager, who's got like a group of people listening and you're like doing all this stuff in front of and educating and all the things. So it's pretty amazing to see behind the curtain a little bit where you were like freaking out the whole time.
I was dying inside.
I never knew.
I had like the gurgles, you know, like every time I did a staff meeting, I was like, oh God.
Well, any staff meeting can be chaotic. So it's a little bit of, you know, sugar and spice in those. So I don't blame you on that one for sure. Yeah. So
I think your journey is so inspiring. It's like so multifaceted. You've constantly added something new again and again and again. So, you know, whether it's the podcast or educating or her power pins, like what's next?
I don't know. Maybe we'll live somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I just want to get to a place where I feel at peace with everything I'm doing. Right now, everything still feels like I'm building. And sometimes I feel like I'm going multiple steps back. I just want to get to a place where I feel good where everything is and just be on a steady path of growth. So like, where do I see myself in like a physical setting? Well, as a founder of this brand that I hope expands to other things, but all focused on girl empowerment would be amazing. And in regards to educating, like I love being in front of people and meeting people. So like I do hope that expands into something else, whether it's with IIles or not. I mean, I hope that it's something that's still part of my journey because I like to teach. So
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. What advice would you give to a salon owner, like, you know, whether it be for 2025 or onward?
I think the really important, and I think this transcends salons. I think anybody that is like running a team of people needs to listen to their team. Like you need to listen to their team. Doesn't mean you need to take on everything they say, but you need to at least let them feel like they have a voice. I think that's really important because that will help you get to your vision faster when you have people on board, but they're only going to be on board if they feel seen and heard. Like I know when I feel seen and heard, I want to help much, much more. So I think that's really important for salon owners and just owners in general to take on with our teams.
So true. Like collaboration and communication goes such a long way.
Such a long way.
It's such a simple thing and it's often forgotten about.
Yeah.
You know?
And like be open to the multiple paths that could get you to that desired outcome, not just the one way or the highway type of way of thinking. I think that's too rigid.
Yeah, I also think like people just don't think that way anymore. Like if you look at the workforce, people want to be collaborative. They want to be, even if there's problems, they want to be involved in them to figure out the solution.
Yes.
Right. So I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good one. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Carla?
No, I'm good. I'm hot. not in that way. Just
You're
physically
so hot. No.
Well, like weather hot.
Thought you could edit out. But Carla, where can everyone find you? Whether it's Her Power, FM Madres.
For my hair, I just go to my hair stuff. It is Carla Zuniga Hair on Instagram. That's what I have for IIles education and just my clients. And then Her Power pins for the pins. And if you want to get political, you can find my personal one, but probably don't need to go there. But anyway.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carla.
Thank you.
This has been a blast.
Yeah. Reunion.
I know. Andy Cohen's on his way.
Okay. Where's the champagne and the shrimp we throw?
We work in the beauty industry, so clunky software is just not the vibe. Boulevard is sleek, made for beauty pros, and gets you compliments, not complaints from clients. Podcast listeners can get 10% off plus free guided setup. So head on over to joinboulevard.com/podcast to claim this special offer.